Hello and welcome to the Redmen TV. It's build-up time. It's Liverpool at Bournemouth in the Premier League. 6 points from 6 this week. Tasty game against Everton at the weekend. A great second half performance from Liverpool against Burnley, and to preview the game against Bournemouth at the Vitality Stadium, I think it is nowadays. I am joined by John Machin, so there is a Machin on this couch, by Ben Kelly and by Steve Hoare. John, a chance for us to go top of the table?
Yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't it? Put some pressure on City.
For a change.
See what that does.
Yeah. Well, they're already starting to lose their heads, to be fair. Did you see the tweets last night about it? And then they're going, oh, will you just go away? They're like a wasp and all this.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're a bit like the posse in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, you know, where they just can't shake him off. And every time they look behind, whatever they've done to get away from them, they look behind and they're still there. That's going to be City with us.
But it's a big game, isn't it? It's a 12:30 kickoff. We made 7 changes midweek against Burnley. Are you expecting another 7 changes, Ben, going into this game?
I don't know, because the thing is, we've got a really big game following it, obviously, with Napoli, and obviously we're going to delve into that post-Bournemouth. But in terms of the team selection, it's interesting because we've got a couple of injuries. Obviously, we're missing Gomez now. We're potentially still going to be missing Robbo or Mane or both. So we don't know really what's going to be. What's good about it is that we've got the squad depth to deal with it. We've got options there. We've got, you know, Daniel Sturridge and Origi again, you know, are coming back into the fold a little bit, and we've got our options. But I don't really know what team he's going to pick at the weekend. Whether he's going to prioritise putting that pressure on City and you know, getting a win, or whether he's going to start looking ahead to Tuesday already.
Steve, have you got one eye on Napoli when you're thinking about this game?
No, not at all. Not at all. I think the fact that it's early Saturday and then Napoli's late Tuesday at home.
And then there's a bit of a gap
I think
with it being Sunday.
You're talking about we'll finish, and there'll be like 3 days and a few hours in between the games. So I think you just pick your best team and then see how everyone's looking at how they're feeling.
If you think about Tuesday, you've got to then think about United, haven't you?
You've got to just
do your head in, wouldn't it?
I think you've got to just roll with the punches. I think he was right to do the rotation at Burnley. I think that was the game to do it. I think because you know they're one of the worst teams in the league, second bottom away from you should beat them with whatever team you put out. Bournemouth are a decent side, you know, going away to Bournemouth. I think that's a risky one to start then doing it again. I do think you just pick your best team, and then you get to Monday, and then you pick your Napoli team and with what's left and whatever. So I think I think it's too big an opportunity not to go full pelt, and I think Klopp will go full pelt. I can't see him messing around too much.
I think if we'd played last night's side against Bournemouth, we'd have probably been 2 or 3 down by half-time.
Yeah. Well, are they 7th?
They come out of the blocks pretty quick, Bournemouth, don't they?
They're 7th in the league, aren't they, Bournemouth? And, you know, they've been performing pretty well thus far. They've had a shocking run, to be fair to them. They won the last game against Huddersfield 2-1, but they took losses against Arsenal, Newcastle, Manchester United.
I can't remember whether it was United or Arsenal where they should have been 3-0 up.
United scored with like the last kick of the game as well to beat them.
You know, so they're a good side. They're a good footballing side, but they tend to get beat by better footballing sides. So hopefully,
what do you make of what's your overriding feeling of Liverpool versus Bournemouth over the last sort of 2-3 years, John?
Well, I think that was at the 4-3, was it there we got beat?
Yeah.
You know, after
2 years ago.
And that's the sort of game it is for us, I think.
Well, since then we've battered them.
Yeah. We've scored 7 goals against them without conceding last season.
They tend to be games where there are goals, you know, and they've upped their game this season. They're a better side this year than they were last. So, you know, if we don't play well, we'll have trouble with them.
Do you think it's not going to be, John, is it? It's not going to be like a Burnley where they're going to play with your 2 banks of 4, the low
They're
block?
not going to be kicking us to death.
No.
You know, like last night.
Does that play into this Liverpool side's hands?
I hope so, yeah. I mean, as I say, I think they get beat by the better sides because, you know, they play football, but then a better football inside will be. It's like when Arsenal used to play Barcelona. Mm-hmm. You know, Arsenal played great football, but when they came up against Barcelona, they played better football. So,
is there anyone in that side, Ben, from Bournemouth, you know, maybe Wilson, anyone that real stand out, bit of a danger man?
Ryan Fraser, for me. I think he's absolutely outstanding, and it was actually that 4-3 game was the first time I ever noticed it. I'll never forget he came on and changed that game, and he's Scottish, isn't he? And I think, you know, it's almost from an England fan's perspective a shame he's not English because he's so bright and creative on the ball. I just think he's just a bundle of energy, and I think he really, the way he sort of drives at defences, I think the balls he puts into the box, I think he's a great player. I think he's the one for me that we've got to look at. Wilson's doing great. The young kid as well, what's his name?
David Brooks.
Yeah, he's playing well. But when I watch Bournemouth, Fraser always catches my eye, really.
Steve, you obviously keep tabs on pretty much every team in world football nowadays, with your job and stuff. Would you agree with Ben on a lot of those points?
Yeah, I think Wilson's really good. I think he's really good. I don't know, he's not just a finisher, or he's a very good finisher, but he's got a bit about him as well. I agree, Fraser injects the pace, you know, because they like to play at tempo and they like to go, so they need someone to carry the ball, and that's him. And then Brooks is he's probably the reason why they are so much better than they have been. Because he's the guy who's been linking with Wilson. He's scoring his own goals. You know, he's coming from the lower divisions, and he's just took to it really, really well. At the back, I think I've always liked Nathan Ake. I think he's a good player. Begovic in goal is a fine Premier League goal. You know, if you look at their squad, they're probably overachieving a little bit, but it's because the players, probably the main ones that Ben mentioned before, are playing at a level where they're at a really good. In a good place.
We know how Eddie Howe's side's going to set up against us. As mentioned, you know, we beat them 3-0 and 4-0 last season. We've actually won 7, drawn 1 and lost 1 over the last 9 games with Bournemouth. Now, I was, before I started doing the research for this, these were a bogey team for me. I was thinking about that 4-3. I was thinking about the 2-2 draw.
The 4-3 is sort of burned into your brain, isn't it?
And
as fans, you remember sometimes the bad bits rather than the good bits. So
it means that if you're ever winning against them, you're always still worried.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? But he's a good manager. But Jurgen Klopp's a good manager, and we're a great football side this season, Steve. So what do Liverpool have to do to go and beat Bournemouth?
Same again. Absolutely. There's no obviously, you're looking more. I think if we play
same team as Wednesday.
No, not so much. But in terms of, again, solid at the back.
Yeah.
And then that's the basis of Liverpool this year. It's a completely different Liverpool side. It's almost like watching, I don't know, like a late era Mourinho Chelsea or whatever. It was that the defence is absolutely sound, and when you've got that much quality in front of it, eventually that should tell. And whether it's in the 96th minute because of Eder or whatever it is, or you know, it's
small arm,
it's a little tiny arm goalie, or it's a set piece like against Burnley, you know, the second goal. Your quality should always shine through, and I think that's where we're based on now. So if Van Dijk, and I imagine it will be Dejan Lovren, can keep Callum Wilson quiet, the midfield are going to have to work hard to pick up Fraser and Brooks in the hole. I imagine that's where they'll be operating. If you can do that, whoever's on the pitch, Liverpool should create enough chances. They should create 5 or 6 decent chances, and with the players they've got, they should be able to put them away. So, what I would like is that, again, I say like it sounds obvious, but they're not gonna, like John said, they're not gonna boot lumps out of us like Burnley did, and they're not gonna be as ferocious, I think, as Everton or at times. They're not going to be as patient. They'll move the ball quickly and they'll get at us. So they're there for a counter, and the counters are on. Arsenal counted on them a couple of times when I watched that game, and it was Bellerin down there right. So again, you think of Trent getting in and stuff like that. So they're there to be got at. The worry is that it's early, or you know, it's absolutely miles away. It's just
they'll probably fly down.
We're not great early kickoffs. You know, I don't think the manager helps in that.
No, because we train at the wrong time, don't we?
And I think
we're one of the only. Jurgen Klopp has us training at the time when your games are, but most of our games are all sort of afternoons and evenings and stuff. So we train later than pretty much every other team in the Premier League. So we actually struggle in those 1-off 12:30s more.
And I don't think the manager helps in that he always goes on about it. So he talks about it every chance he gets. It's like, I'd rather be in bed. No, this is a dinner time kick-off. And I do think, though, that does have an effect. I don't think he should do it. It's one of the few criticisms I've got of him in these earlies. Just get on with it. It's on the fixture list. You've got to play it. It isn't great. We all know that, but it's almost like a little excuse almost. You can tell because if he's not up for it, then how would you get your players up for it, kind of thing.
John, there's not often we've sat here over the last 8 years and talked to you about a season where I can know for a fact that Liverpool have done better than you've ever seen in your lifetime. We're now at the stage after 15 games of the season where you will not have seen what Liverpool have done in a point sense before.
No, true.
And yet...
we're still not top of the league. Yeah.
What's going on here?
I mean, City are just something else, aren't they? There's no doubt about it. And all you can hope is that in a long season, well, it'll be their second season, really, where they've just been hell for leather, that eventually does start to slip up a little bit. I mean, I think there were a few signs when they played, they played Bournemouth, didn't they, last week? And Bournemouth scored just
Watford,
before
they went great against
half-time.
Watford.
And nearly scored just after half-time, which might well have changed the complexion of the game, And I think if we're dogged and we're always there behind them, never losing, and so they can't open up a big gap, I think that might tell some at some point.
So what about this style of football? And we've seen a lot, haven't we, over the last sort of 2 months about this style of football. Steve mentioned it before, we're not playing our fluid football. It is a results business, and this Liverpool side are getting results.
Absolutely. I mean, how many times in the past have we said, why don't they manage games better? Why, we should have won that game and we end up drawing it, So, he's hit on something which in the Prem is working. And we've only dropped points to the 3 best sides around us. It doesn't work in Europe. That's fairly clear to me. But it certainly is working in the Prem, so you can't complain, can you?
No, I can't. I said at the start of the season, Ben, that Liverpool are set up for European football, and that's why I don't think Liverpool are going to win the Premier League this season. I've said it on podcasts, I've said it on subscriber shows, I've said it on YouTube on my own videos and stuff. Jurgen Klopp completely changed how we've played football. I'm completely and utterly wrong, because right now, as John's just mentioned, we don't look up for it in Europe because of this counter-attack inside that we had from last season, the attack, the front three. It's not been there so far this season. We've developed a strategy, like Steve mentioned, there are elements of those dogged Premier League winning sides that you've seen from the likes of Jose Mourinho, mid-noughties, Chelsea side, that it looks to me like I think Klopp's changed every single year he's been at Liverpool. I think he's made mistakes and he's rectified them the following year. I think we pressed too hard and we tired a lot in that first half of season. I think second year he dealt really poorly with rotation of the squad in the early parts of the season, and we absolutely bombed it in January. I think last season he probably rotated arguably a little bit too much in the early parts of the season. This year it's changed again, but this year we've got a style of play where we're going to beat 17 teams in this league quite comfortably, and that's what he's planning for.
Last season as well, he ran out of players as much as he ran out of anything, and this season he shouldn't do that. And the game against Burnley showed that he's willing to use his squad, and we didn't like it. I don't think that many Liverpool fans would have seen that team and thought, oh yeah, I'm up for that. And yeah, that's what he should be doing. You know what
helps? The big fella in goal.
And the big fella in front of him.
The big fella in front of him. The big fella in goal helps a lot, because without him, you go 1 down to Everton, and then Bournemouth equalise in the last second of that game, and then all of a sudden you've got you maybe 1 or 2 points from Everton at home, Burnley away, and then it's looking up shitty again. So the fact that they've got him in goal, they always say don't leave 10 points a season. It's hard to quantify, but I think we can clearly see there's 6 that he's helped us win in the matter of a weekend. And when you're playing that style of football, you need a great goalie. So Mourinho's side had Petr Cech, who was unbelievable. And Man United did it for a while. Obviously David Hayes he's having a bit of a poor time now, but for a while he was amazing. I think if you're going to be defensively solid, teams, even if you're amazing, teams will always get a lucky bounce or a lucky break. And it's in those moments where your goalie bails you out, and we've never had it. We've had, Sam Mignolet, who's made good saves at times, but he's also had shockers. He hasn't made many saves where you didn't expect him to get it. That one for Burnley, where Alisson gets in the top corner, the Gomez save, that's massive, and he helps you. And City have got a good goalie, and now we've got one who we can say is good, if not better, and I think he's better.
Well, just look at midweek's fixtures. You've got Kepa and you've got David De Gea making mistakes, costing our rivals.
Leno wasn't great.
Leno, exactly the same. Yeah, these guys are good goal. Bloody hell, easy for me to say. Good goalkeepers, but they cost us something that might cost us. Ben, Joe Gomez's injury. I mean, this is a big one. We're still waiting for news at time of recording. Although I've been filming for 2.5 hours, so we're still waiting for news. We're still waiting for news. Excellent. I mean, this is a big loss for Liverpool, isn't it, at the moment?
Yeah, definitely. Just because I honestly believe he's one of the best centre-halves in the league. and to have those two side by side this season, as much as we give the goalkeeper credit, as much as we give Virgil van Dijk credit, Joe Gomez has been just as much of a key player, and that's because the pair of them, the distributing on the ball, I'd say the passing is probably more Virgil's thing, but actually driving out from defence is something that Joe Gomez did excellently. It's not something that Dejan Lovren does. It's something that we've seen Joe Matip do, but he does look a bit more like Bambi on ice than Joe Gomez. Doesn't look as confident doing it. So whoever comes in there, we are going to lose not just a good defender, but the extra dimensions that Gomez brings to the play in terms of on the ball skills. We're going to lose out whoever we bring in there, and that's why it's going to be a loss. And obviously,
and he's covering Trent as well.
Well, exactly.
He's spelling him so he can keep fresh.
And that's down to how quick he is. So when Trent bombs on, you've got a defender fast enough to play centre back, but also cover right back when you need him to.
That could be the biggest problem. Yeah. That we've got Trent and we've got Klein, and Klein doesn't seem to be anywhere. So does that mean Trent's going to play every game from now onwards?
You're going to have to see. You're going to have to see some Klein out.
I think that's what it is.
That's a real big problem.
We'll come to the starting 11 predictions the preferred 11s very, very soon. Then we're going to take a little ad break right now. So here is our series that we've been producing on YouTube each and every week for the last few weeks. It's a belter of a Pro Evolution Soccer series. If you like gaming and you like Liverpool Football Club and you like us, then do check out Road to Glory.
It is liquid football! Oh my God, they are taking the piss. Liverpool taking the piss. Yeah.
Well, that was scintillating and rather easy.
That's one to sit back and savour.
Yeah! Oh! It's it! No! It's it! Yes! Get it! Get it! For me, Champions League still got to be on because this team is good enough. We've had a bit of a rough patch, but hopefully that's behind us now. And we go forward and we start dominating sides because we're good enough. We're good enough. We just let ourselves down. It's just about work. And the refs against us. No. They're all against us. Every single. No. Right.
It's like I said, it's just about getting back to the training ground and working hard now, building on this, and that's all we've got to say for today.
So, preferred 11s time. Spoilers, I've got Klein in mind. We were just talking about it before the ad break. I don't normally go first, or the host doesn't normally go first in this one, but we were just talking about it. The rest of my team's very similar to you guys. Everybody else has gone Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think Nathaniel Klein needs to play football. I think we need to get him up and ready if Gomez is injured.
We saw against Burnley how the difficulty of having players who don't play football and then expecting them after 3 or 4 months without a game to come on and actually play well. And, I think Origi probably can play better than that if he gets a bit more game time. And Moreno looked rusty as well. And I think if you bring Klein in, you're going to have to accept that he might not be on the top of his game, and you're going to have to suffer that. So I think you've got to pick what game you play him, and maybe Bournemouth away rather than Napoli or Man United.
That was literally
the flip side could be, what do we think? What Napoli side are we going to get, and who's going to attack us more and stuff? And it might be that Bournemouth actually have more of a go than Napoli in terms down the flanks. I don't know.
We said earlier Trent might be good on the break against Bournemouth.
So there's pros and cons. The thing is now Klein's going to get games now. He has to, doesn't he? There's no other way around it really. Trent can't play every game. I know Camacho was on the bench, but he played right back in the pre-season, but I don't think he was there as a right back. He's there as a forward option.
No, yeah, because Trent was on the bench, wasn't
there as well. So
Fabinho's there, of course.
Fabinho can play right
Oh,
back.
hello, John Machin. Fabinho at right back.
The only thing with that is, I think we've only just got him boxed off in midfield.
Come on now, I just want to see it, Steve.
Well, he does it for Brazil, and he can do it.
I'm not going to watch Brazil games.
He's just had his best game in midfield, and we put him to right back.
Again, how fit's Klein? That's the $1 million question. I agree, we're going to see him at some point. It might be that it's...
His first game should be okay, because the adrenaline will probably keep him going, but after that...
He might be United. They might say to Trent, like, right, you've got a week and a bit, get yourself fit, you start at Man United, and just tell him that now. I don't know, it's hard, innit, but I can see your logic in having him, because I agree with me. Trent had a rest at Bournemouth, but he comes on after what?
23 minutes.
Half an hour, 20 minutes. And then, so you're going to ask him to play, 3.5 games in a week or so. it is a big ask, I agree with you, so Klein's a good option.
I'll go to your team next then, John. You've gone Matip and Van Dijk centre-halves.
Yeah, I think Lovren will play against Napoli, so I'm thinking Matip, why not? He had a game the other day. Another game won't do him any harm. Didn't do anything particularly wrong.
I disagree with that. I had a really poor judgment of Matip's game when I watched it first time. And then I think I realised that it was about the first 5 minutes he was absolute dog shit. And then after that, I think he played really well, to be honest with you. He just misplaced about the first 3 passes.
Yeah.
And I think that clouded my
That's
judgment.
the thing about rust that I was talking about.
Yeah.
Moreno did exactly the same, didn't he? I think his first pass was totally
Sturridge
astray.
was horrendous.
Even Trent's first touch when he came on, he knocks out for a throw-in.
You know, I think if you're not playing week in, week out, you're sitting on the bench and not getting any football. Not okay, in the old days, you just go and play in the reserves. You know, now you sit on the bench with the squad and you don't get any football. I think that's really hard.
It comes back though, the Van Dijk and Matip partnership is that Lovren I've seen conflicting reports. I've seen an illness and I've seen a head injury.
Liverpool's had a head injury.
Right, and this guy misses a lot of games of football. You put it out on Twitter last night, Steve, didn't you?
Yeah, I got a bit of stick for that. I didn't know he had today, but he is in and out the team, and every so often he's just like, touch wood, he's never out for weeks. But it's like, oh yeah, Lovren, and then Lovren misses this game because he's ill, or Lovren misses this game because he got a knock.
But you need that continuity.
It is hard. We haven't got it, but I don't want to go into mine. I've picked Lovren in mine. I think next man up. I think he's the next. So Gomez goes out. I think Lovren's our next best defender. I think he's better than Matip. I can see Matip playing a lot of home games against rubbish teams. That's where Matip, I think, is a bonus with us. I remember him playing, was it Southampton? Did he play? I think, and it's the forward passing when he's under no pressure. I'm not sure I want Matip running back towards his own goal too often. I know Lovren isn't brilliant at it, but I think he's better than Matip.
We're split here then. I think you and Ben have gone for Lovren and me and John have gone for, we've couched up. Basically.
Yeah, I wasn't aware it was a head injury. I mean, it depends what you define as a head injury. Because a head injury is you've just banged. Yeah, exactly. It could be a headache. You know. So, but if it is more of a serious thing, then yeah. But I would stay. I think for pacey teams, I'd rather have. I think Matip's just a bit too gangly. I don't know. I think he's.
I have to be very careful what I say because you don't want to insult the guy too much. But I think he's a bit soft.
Passive's the word I always use.
He's a little bit soft. I think Bournemouth Burnley got onto it a little bit at the beginning, and I'm surprised he went away from it because he could have just kept lumping it at him all game.
For that reason, I wouldn't play him against Napoli or Man United, but I think Bournemouth he might be okay. If we need to rotate, then
but then Lovren, it's really hard when you don't know levels in it. But I've just gone in my head on the basis that Mane's out and Gomez is out. I've gone for what I think is Liverpool's best team without those at the minute.
Yeah, no, I can totally understand that. I'll go on to the midfield, then Ben, we'll come to you first on the midfield. I think we've all got variations on a theme here. I've not actually checked whether any of us have got the same. So Ben, your midfield, Fabinho, Wijnaldum and Keita. It looks like you've set it up 4-2-3-1, but Keita maybe 10 yards deeper than a normal number 10. Yeah,
I think my thinking is I don't think Firmino has been great in the 10 in a 4-2-3-1. So I think he's got to be a false 9 or a classic 9 for me. And then you've got Keita, who he could play 10, but I haven't seen him play 10, and I think we're better off overloading midfield a little bit. I think when you know it's a small pitch at Burnley. I think if we can get control of the midfield, then Bournemouth. That's who we're playing. Then I think you're better off doing that. And I think Keita, then if he's dropping deep, he can do because he's good at the defensive side of it as well. So you know he can do his press and all that, and then he should have some space in front of him then to be able to drive forward and help the front three. That's whoever the front three are.
He was best player on the pitch for me at midweek, and he deserves to keep his place because of that. And
he sort of had a free role for me. He didn't seem to be in any one position. He seemed to be back and forward and left and right. And I like that.
You know, I love about him, he's got this amazing ability to make it look like he's going to get tackled. And he's almost like, it's a bit like a red cloth to a ball, in that he shows you the ball and your instinct is just go for it no matter what. Even if you're a team who like Burnley, who were probably more worried about setting being defensive, they see that ball and they think, right, I'm going to get him. And then he's away, and then he's driving forward, and we haven't got no one else in the midfield, obviously with Chamberlain being out, who's been able to do it, and we've all been crying out, we need Naby Keita to do that, that's what he needs to do for this team to click, and it was no surprise that when he did it, the team clicked, you know, bar Joe Hart pulling off a worldy save. He's got himself a
Goal
goal,
of the season contender.
and he's also got one cleared off the line.
That's the most shots he's had in any game up to now.
He had 3 in 1 5-second period.
Which is amazing. we don't shoot enough sometimes. And I just think Guerra's dynamic. You know, he's so dynamic. That's what he's got about him, and he beats players. And I do think in this type of game, if it's going to be one where we're going to be on the counter, I think he's a perfect foil.
When games are tight as well, because they will sit back when we've got the ball, because we will take the ball off them. Having someone to be brave enough to beat their man opens up everything else in front of you. And that we've said all season, sorry Steve, that we've missed Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain's driving runs from midfield. Every single one of us here has got Naby Keita in the midfield in a very, very similar position each and every time, because we saw what he could do at the midweek and we want him to replicate that. Feels like this is him and his Liverpool career taken off now, doesn't it?
You know what else he does, mate, as well? He does it. You mentioned about, you know, they're sitting back and he'll beat a man. He'll beat a man in our half.
Yeah.
He won't just do it in the... He's happy to back himself. And maybe it's a case of, well, if I do get taken off me, I'll
do you remember that turn the other week? On the edge of that area? Palace.
He's done, and he was doing it against Burnley as well. He's happy to go past you in our half. And as soon as you go past one in our half, they're back there on the back foot straight away, aren't they? So I think... And with what Bournemouth are going to want to do, they're going to come at us, they're going to hit us, but if we get the ball, they're going to quickly be back into shape. And I think we need to hit them when they're not in the shape. And I can't see, you know, anyone... Wijnaldum to an extent can probably do it, because he carries the ball pretty well, but I don't think anyone can do it as well as Keita does. So I think he's nailed it.
He's got really quick feet as well. Yeah. You know, he's actually a really very good footballer.
And he should be fit. He hasn't played, so whether he's got match fit is a different thing, but he shouldn't be tired, he shouldn't be fatigued. Because we haven't seen him for weeks.
You'd be raring to go, wouldn't you? If you were him, you should be absolutely wanting to get out there.
I just think if he can get into the side now, we've got a fresh player at the busy period of games over the season. I just don't think you could have timed it any better.
When we see Oxlade-Chamberlain coming through round about this time last year, and he's obviously settled into the club now. Hopefully, got a handle on how the Premiership is. So it is a perfect time for
Steve, you went for the same midfield as Ben by the looks of it, Fabinho, Wijnaldum and Keita. John, yours was Wijnaldum, Fabinho and Keita as well. Mine was the only difference. I've given Millie a start. Fabinho and Milner as the two this time. Although thinking about it now, I think you guys are probably right, because I want Milner against Napoli.
That was my exact thinking.
I think I've made a mistake there. And then the front three, mine's Salah, Sturridge, Firmino as a 3. John, yours is Salah, Firmino, Mane or Shaqiri if he's unavailable.
Fit, yeah.
Steve, yours is Salah, Firmino, Shaqiri.
If Mane's out.
If Mane's out, and yours is the same.
Yeah.
Mane, but if he's out, it's Shaqiri. So I liked Daniel Sturridge's performance midweek when Salah and Firmino were on the pitch. I thought he looked a different player. It looked to me like the pressure was off him. And it felt like he can just kind of acknowledge that he's not there to absolutely have to score.
He looks like he's enjoying his football at the moment. You know, that wasn't the case last year in the early part. When
I worry about him starting to play for 90 minutes and then going again on the Saturday morning. I would worry about it. He looked knackered at the end of that game, although, you know, to be fair to me, he plays an amazing pass, but I don't know if that's because he couldn't run, but he looked tired. He did, and you know, I don't blame him. You know, he's another one who. When's the last time Dan Sturridge played 90 minutes? It's rare that it happens. I wouldn't be surprised if you see a little bit of him at Napoli at some stage as well.
That's why I thought he'd be in this game as opposed to the Napoli one, because I think for me, if Mane's got a cut on his foot, he's got to be there for Napoli or Man United. Yeah. And so I literally planned the team without using Sadio Mane at all. I went a different way on it. And you guys, I've pushed Firmino out there because I just don't see who else we've got. You know, it's a worry. You know, me and Si were talking, can Shaqiri go over on that left-hand side? We've not seen any evidence of it. In fact, we've seen more evidence of Keita being pushed on the left-hand side than Shaqiri right now. But before we round up then, score predictions, Steve Hoare.
3-0 to Liverpool.
Wow.
3-1 to Liverpool.
John?
I'm going 3-0 as well.
Wow, okay, big confidence. I'm going to go 2-0 to Liverpool on this occasion. Leave me your score predictions in the comments section below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the Redmen TV on YouTube, and we'll see you next time. Hopefully, after Liverpool have smashed Bournemouth in the face.